Batman is undeniably the most powerful character within the DC universe, and due to this, there are a series of Elseworlds storylines giving us what-ifs. And in today's story, we're going to explore what if Batman got the Green Lantern ring. This is the Comicstorian Full Story channel where we create audio dramas of your favorite comic books for you to enjoy and know what to pick up in your collection. Let's get into it. Bruce slouches in the large chair of his darkened study, blood seeping from the knife wound that he sustained while protecting his city. The criminals, they don't fear him. He might die tonight, but as his mind begins to drift, he begins to apologize to his father. And outside, a bat flies towards the window of his study, but it pauses as it becomes distracted by something falling out of the sky. In that study, the bust of his father begins to shimmer with a green light, and a voice states, "Bruce Wayne, you have been chosen." Bruce's eyes widen as the shimmering light takes the shape of a pink-skinned alien, dressed in green with a lantern on his chest, but he closes his eyes, believing the image to be a hallucination from his blood loss. But Abin Sur will not be declined. "Feel my power," the alien says, putting its ring against Bruce's forehead, healing him. He stands quickly, moving through the manor, getting Alfred and leading him out onto the grounds, where the two of them find the ship. "Shall I prepare the guest room, sir?" Alfred asks dryly, and Bruce, in response, crawls into the ship, finding the wounded alien. "It is I who await you, Bruce Wayne, as you have awaited me your whole life," he gasps, placing the ring on Bruce's hand, informing him that he is now a Green Lantern. "You will fight injustice on this planet and many others," he gasps, as Bruce begins to glow with the green light. As he lays back, Abin Sur informs Bruce that the Masters will soon be before him, and with these words, he dies. Bruce carries the body outside, with Alfred wondering what they plan on doing when the authorities arrive. But Bruce informs him that they'll never find the crashed ship. He turns, using his newfound abilities to hollow out the earth beneath the manor, creating a vast cave to act as a base of operations. It's there that he finds Abin Sur's lantern as well, with the ring whispering to him, informing him what he must do. So he picks up the lantern, placing the ring against it, reciting the oath of the Green Lantern Corps. Bruce realizes that now with his newfound abilities, he has the power to make the criminals of Gotham fear him. Meanwhile, over at Gotham City, Ace Chemicals, the GCPD have surrounded the building. They've received reports of a guy in a red hood who has taken several workers hostage. A robbery gone wrong. Harvey Dent pulls up, asking for a report from James Gordon. "What made them think that there was any money in there?" Dent asks as he gets the details. Inside, the robbers decide to throw a barrel of chemicals out the window, with the Red Hood shouting for them to stop. The barrel shatters in the pavement below, chemical gas is beginning to leak out. That's when the police look up and they see a green light glowing in the sky. "I didn't order a flare," Gordon grumbles, but the ceiling of the chemical plant explodes inward, with Bruce appearing as a Green Lantern, now with a cape and a mask. The robbers open fire, but Bruce knows that if he wills himself to be bulletproof, he will be. A green shield appears around his body, with bullets bouncing harmlessly off. He uses his powers to grab the robbers, but their bullets go astray, hitting some of the chemical containers and the leaking gases. The yellow gas begins to weaken the constructs of the Green Lantern, but the robbers rush at him. Now, Bruce isn't helpless. Now, he has the ability to fight with the powers of the Green Lantern. But he's still Batman beneath all of that, quickly punching and kicking them until they're down. Using another construct, he manages to gather up the gas, but another thug raises their weapon at him. "No, don't!" the Green Lantern shouts, but the spark ignites the chemicals, blowing up the station. "What the hell?" Gordon shouts from outside as the explosion pushes his men back. The Green Lantern flies out of the rubble, protecting the robbers in a green bubble. "I believe these are the men you're looking for, Commissioner. You'll find that I was able to contain the chemicals as well," the Green Lantern tells him. "Who are you? And how can you do these things?" Gordon demands. But Green Lantern shakes his head, stating that it doesn't matter as long as he uses this power to do good. With that, he flies off. Dent walks over to Gordon as they both look up at the flying man. "You don't seem to think much of our masked benefactor," he points out, and Gordon shakes his head. "I don't think much of vigilantes, especially ones with more power than they know what to do with." Back at the cave, Alfred is dusting off Bruce's newfound lair, but the Green Lantern begins to glow, and a large blue head appears before him. "We seek congress with he who wears the ring," the Guardian says, startling the butler. Alfred calls for Bruce, who steps before the Guardian. The ring told me a little bit about you. Guardians of the universe, creators of the power. The Guardian nods his head, informing Bruce that he is needed at the planet of Korugar. I have my hands full with this planet, much less the sector, Bruce tells the Guardian, but the alien informs him that the Green Lantern Sinestro has captured his planet, using his Green Lantern to rule over them all. Bruce doesn't like the sound of that, his fist tightening. In a matter of minutes, he is flying through the vastness of space, marveled at how he would have loved this as a small child, and he lands on the planet of Korugar, quickly finding the Palace of Sinestro, who sits on a throne surrounded by slave women. Ah, a colleague. I've had so few chances to share stories of the Corps. Sinestro cheers, clapping his hands, ordering some refreshments for his guests, but Bruce declines. I couldn't keep anything down, knowing it had been taken by force. Sinestro leans forward, anger on his face. You dare! He snarls, tapping a button on his throne, and lasers shoot at Bruce Wayne. But he's too fast, leaping through the air, shooting his own blast at Sinestro. Bruce then moves outside with Sinestro quickly following. Come to please your masters, have you? They can't abide anyone who uses his power for his own gratification. Sinestro bellows as he continues to shoot blasts at Bruce. Bruce reaches out with a construct hand, pulling a dome off of a building, whirling around and trapping Sinestro in it. But the veteran Green Lantern blasts through that dome, showering Bruce with rubble. Bruce quickly leads Sinestro back into his throne room, using the ring to activate the throne and hit Sinestro with his own laser blast, dropping him quickly. But as he begins to apprehend the rogue Green Lantern, the servants of Sinestro's court step forward. He was our benefactor, rewarding us for serving him. Will you care for us now? They demand, and they begin to bow before Bruce Wayne the Green Lantern, promising to worship him for his protection. But a woman steps forward, yelling at the others that they would demean themselves by immediately bowing to the next ruler. This man is our protector, not our god, she snaps. But Bruce shakes his head, informing her that he was merely sent to capture Sinestro. But you will need a new Green Lantern, and I don't think I can find a better candidate, Bruce says as he slips Sinestro's Green Lantern ring onto her finger. I am called Karma 2, she calls to him as he flies away, wishing her good luck. Bruce then brings Sinestro to Oa, where he is quickly put on trial for his actions. He stands before the Guardians of Oa, who proclaim that he will be stripped of his power and transported to the anti-universe. Sinestro glares at Bruce, proclaiming that he is the one who humiliated him in front of his subjects. You will see me again, he bellows. And a ray hits Sinestro, his body beginning to stretch as it's pulled out of the universe, and he screams in pain as he appears in the anti-universe. But someone was watching him. His strange features smile as he informs Sinestro that they have been watching him for some time. We think you'll find that we've provided all the comforts of home for you, he says, holding out his hand to reveal a yellow lantern ring. It is sometime later that Bruce is returned to Earth, and he slips into the commissioner's office one night. Good evening, the Green Lantern tells him. Good evening. I need your help, the Green Lantern tells him. And Gordon is shocked as Bruce informs him that he needs information on the gunman that used to work in the Park Row district. About 25 years ago. He'd be in his late 40s by now. Why is he so important to you? Gordon asks, his eyes narrowing in suspicion. And memories of the night that his parents were killed go through Bruce's mind. Of his parents being shot by a mugger, but he can't tell Gordon that, or the man would be able to figure out his secret identity. I have my reasons, he finally says, but Gordon shakes his head. Don't come at me asking for favors. Do you have any idea what you've done to my city? I've taught them fear, Bruce tells him, and Gordon holds up a newspaper, the article talking about the Green Lantern's latest capture. Fear of you, not the law, he snaps. Gordon turns away, telling Bruce that he doesn't like him or his methods. I could make you help me, Bruce says, putting his glowing hand on Gordon's shoulder. But I won't. Not yet, he says as he disappears in a flash of green. Despite his misgivings, Gordon begins to look into the information that the Green Lantern needed, and he discovers 3 muggers worked in that area, but they were never convicted. That the most major crime was the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne, Gotham's biggest benefactors. The room then suddenly fills with bright light again. Green Lantern? Gordon asks, and he turns to see his visitor, but Sinestro stands before him. Hardly, he says, as he reaches for the folders as Gordon stares at him in shock. So you are theorizing that one of the bereaved family members is the Green Lantern. You're very sharp for an inferior species. He says haughtily. Gordon draws his pistol, beginning to bring it up quickly, but he's not quick enough, and Sinestro catches his hand with a yellow box. Well, I can't let you live now. You've got yourself to blame. If you hadn't pulled a weapon, it wouldn't hurt so much, he says as a yellow light shoots through Gordon's chest, stopping his heart. Gordon struggles in pain, collapsing to the floor. There are many more painful deaths that I could have subjected you to, you know, Sinestro says as he casually walks out of the room. Later, Joe Chill gets up from his bed with a hooker when there's a knock at the door. He looks in shock to open the door, revealing a young Bruce Wayne. How? He stammers, but the boy morphs into Sinestro, who smiles with wicked glee. You do remember. You'll be pleased to know that he remembers you too. And he reaches out for Joe Chill, grabbing him by the head. I want your mind, Joe Chill, he says, and Sinestro rips through Chill's mind, images of the night that he murdered the Waynes playing out before his eyes. Joe Chill's eyes glaze over and Sinestro begins to smile and laugh. Of course! It's so clear! By the time that Harvey Dent arrived at the scene, Gordon had already been taken away, but the Green Lantern was still there, looking into the clues of who killed the police commissioner. He finds photos of the men that Gordon was looking into, and Bruce's eyes widen as he sees the photo of Joe Chill, with Dent informing him that the police are trying to track him down. Don't waste the Force's time. I'll find him, Bruce growls, and he turns, using his power to phase through the window. Come back, you're not the law in this town, no matter what you think, Dent yells after him, but the Green Lantern is already gone, and Dent looks at the window where the Green Lantern left, thinking that his power could be useful in the right hands. Green Lantern quickly finds the body of Joe Chill, angry that he was unable to get his vengeance on the man who killed his parents. But you still have your chance to get your revenge upon us, Wayne. A voice calls out to him, and he turns to see Sinestro standing there in a funny suit, aiming his yellow ring. And we'll both have ours, he shouts, shooting a yellow blast, but the Green Lantern moves fast, grabbing a mirror, bouncing the energy back at him, leaping into the air, flying out the hole in the wall that Sinestro had created. Come back here, you lackey! We're not finished with you yet! Sinestro is laughing as he creates a path of destruction in the streets, but the smoke begins to bellow, and he looks around in confusion. Where is he? You lost him! No, you lost him! He begins to shout, seemingly angry with himself. But green hands then come out of the smoke, punching him. I'm here, and here, Green Lantern shouts, flying out, punching him physically in the face, with Sinestro flying away quickly, still arguing with himself. He'll pay for striking me! He struck me? No, he struck me! He shouts to the Green Lantern, wanting to follow, but he knows he needs to help those within the city. Meanwhile, Sinestro has decided that he needs help in defeating the Green Lantern. We'll need help against him. Good idea. I'm glad I thought of it. You? I thought of it, he says seemingly to himself again. He heads into the office of the DA, announcing himself quickly and attacking Dent. The DA begins to scream as half of his face is burnt. But it's not the only help that he finds. He also heads into space, and using his yellow ring, he causes a volcano to begin to erupt on a distant planet, endangering all of those who live nearby. Days pass with no signs of Sinestro, but Bruce gets a warning from a nearby Air Force base. He flies there, knowing it could only be Sinestro. There he finds two of Sinestro's lackeys, Star Sapphire and Binary Star. Green Lantern is shocked as Harvey Dent attacks him, powered by twin Yellow Lantern rings. Star Sapphire attacks him with a Yellow Lantern whip, but Green Lantern manages to break free, shooting out energy at both attackers. Both villains are quickly knocked to the floor, but they reach their hands out for one another. Only one thing left to do, Dent whispers to Star Sapphire, and the yellow rings join together and the two disappear. See you in round 2, Dent whispers. Later, from their secret lair, Sinestro and his friends watch as the Green Lantern continues to look for them on Earth, stopping crime and saving people as he does. But Sinestro laughs as the images shift and he watches the volcano erupt on the planet that he visited, threatening the primitive lives below. Their deaths are a necessary part of our plan, Sinestro tells his cohorts as they express discomfort in killing the indigenous people. Back in his cave, the lantern glows once more, with the Guardians appearing before Bruce, informing him that they need him to go to Rigor 4. Sorry, no, Bruce tells them with a shake of his head, and the Guardian narrows his eyes. You mock us with your defiance. But Bruce informs him that he means no disrespect. He must focus on Earth while the threat of Sinestro is still at large. Such abdication of duty is grounds for removal of the ring. You'll have to take it, he says dangerously. Sinestro continues to watch this with the power of his ring, laughing that his plan is going far better than he could have hoped. They'll take his ring and then he'll be mine! He laughs, still arguing with himself, bringing looks of confusion from Binary Star and Star Sapphire. Meanwhile, the Guardians continue to debate, believing that Bruce should be stripped of his ring, though he is the most valiant member of the Corps, and finally an agreement is reached. On Earth, the Guardians begin to reach out to the other heroes of Earth. Clark Kent, whose abilities are known to the Guardians, Queen Hippolyta, Barry Allen. Meanwhile, Green Lantern flies over his city, but he is stopped by 4 glowing green lights. Wielder 2H14, you are hereby ordered to surrender your ring immediately. Tomar Ray orders him, flanked by Katma 2, Kilowog, and Orissa. But Bruce shakes his head. You want my ring? You'll have to take it! He snaps at them and the 4 shoot out beams, trapping Bruce in a bubble, but he breaks it easily, zipping through the air, avoiding their blasts and allowing them to shoot each other. But while Bruce is distracted, Sinestro and his goons appear in the cave beneath Wayne Manor, startling Alfred. Before Alfred can move though, Sinestro shoots him with a yellow beam, throwing him against the wall. Sinestro smiles as he picks up Bruce's Green Lantern, altering it with his yellow lantern. Should the Green Lantern survive his fight with his fellows, recharging his ring will be his first thought, and his laugh. A voice suddenly calls to him, and Sinestro turns in shock to see 3 heroes standing before him, all now armed with rings. I can't imagine the type of mind that would take credit for this, but then again, I haven't been around much, Superman says. Meanwhile, Bruce continues to fight the other lanterns, knocking away Tomar Ray as the lantern tries to sneak up on him. But Kilowog hits him with a massive fist, stunning him briefly. Karma 2 apprehends him with a green construct, and Orissa pulls the ring off of his finger. We're only doing our duty, she says as a way of an apology, but Bruce continues to struggle. So am I, in my own way, he tells her. Meanwhile, back in the cave, Sinestro's goons are moving forward. Guess this is our baptism by fire, Barry whispers, and Hippolyta steps forward, trying to talk Star Sapphire out of fighting. But the woman attacks and Hippolyta twists, wrapping her in a green lasso. Clark continues to move forward, but Dent is trying to circle through different energy signatures to try and find something that will stop the Man of Steel. Do you think I would just stand there and let you find it? Clark asks as he reaches out, grabbing both of Dent's hands. Meanwhile, Sinestro is trying to hit Barry, who is the fastest man alive. My ring will deal with you! Sinestro shouts as he continues to fire, but Barry is faster than light, moving around him quickly, punching him in the face and removing his ring. The punch knocks Sinestro to the ground, where he drops the Green Lantern battery. It tumbles slowly towards the recovering body of Alfred. Master Bruce, he gasps, knowing that Sinestro has booby-trapped the battery. He grabs it, allowing it to explode in his face. Bruce can sense the death of Alfred. Tomar Ray is holding out his ring, putting him under arrest, but Bruce knows that the ring responds to the strongest will, which is Bruce's. He thinks about it, and 4 bands of energy shoot out, wrapping around them. The ring flies back to his finger, and Bruce leaps into the air, quickly flying back out of the cave. Back over in the cave, Hippolyta holds the body of Alfred, telling the others that there is nothing that they can do. He sacrificed himself for his friend, Clark points out, and Sinestro and the others are now tied up, with the villains smiling as they begin to fade, promising to return. Bruce returns to the cave, calling out to Alfred. I believe this is your friend, Hippolyta says, holding Alfred for Bruce, who demands to know who the new people are. We're friends. The Guardians contacted us and informed us of your situation, Clark tells him. Bruce demands to know where Sinestro is. I think he's in space. We made Earth a little too hot for him, Clark says, pointing up into the sky. Then that's where I'm going, Bruce tells them, taking Alfred's body. The others tell him to stay and mourn his friend, but Bruce shakes his head. My mourning has always been my work. Alfred would understand that. He buries Alfred quickly, next to Abin Sur in the cave. The others ask him to train them, but Bruce retrieves his battery, leaping into the sky, shouting to them that experience is the best teacher. Meanwhile, the Guardians order the other lanterns to return to their homeworlds. No further discipline is required of Bruce. You all did well. All is going according to plan, they intone sagely as they watch him fly through the vastness of space. And there you have it, another video here at Comicstorian Full Story. Now, if you want to keep up to date with current comic books and see our videos as they're launched, please consider going to the main channel, Comicstorian. And you can also find us on Patreon at Comicstorian, and on Discord at Comicstorian, and on Twitter at Comicstorian, and on TikTok at Comicstorian. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.